Hey everybody, I'm going to show you an easy way to turn the Eachine Tx01 into an FPV machine. And you're going to add an alternate power supply so that you can use different types of batteries. This is the small one for the JJRC style battery, for the JJRC. So in the end, you'll be able to use the Eachine version with the bigger connector or the JJRC with the tiny connector, either one.
Breaking onion rings.
First off, what you're going to do, you get packs of these. They're like 6 for $15 and they come with a little charger. The chargers have 6 of these, one for each obviously, and you basically scavenge one and you wire it in. You just solder it in so that your wires will come through. They'll just come through on the end. So the battery itself will fit, no problem, fits no modifications at all, and you just want enough of a pigtail sticking off of the positive and negative, sitting right here. We're going to do it from the top side so it comes down. That way you can still use your Eachine battery connector. You're not removing anything, and you're adding this so you can just plug in. The other thing we're doing is putting a little camera on top. This is my furibee F36, which was my favorite. This is still a great flyer. I love it, but I only have one camera, and I'm going to transfer it over to here because I've also flashed the Acro firmware on this. It's on my other video for Acro firmware. So we're just going to take the camera off here, put it on here, and we're going to add a pigtail so we can use different connectors. Very simple. Hopefully this will go quickly and easily. Just going to desolder my camera here. You won't have to do this part at least, so that's a good thing. Well, that suck. Just get it up here, bump it a little bit. One thing with these very tiny boards, you have to be very fast because you don't want any extra heat getting to your pins because they will just pull right out. That was easy. Alright. So, F36, thanks so much. You're still going to be a great flyer, just not FPV flyer. Also, if you notice, dual propellers on the F36, they're awesome. On the GearBest F36. So that's first up. Alright, so we're going to cut off the tiny end here. Just cut this off, try not to burn myself. I'm going to leave a little more room than probably necessary, and that's just my paranoia. Cut off, got some tiny little... I love these, by the way. They're still from Banggood. You can buy them actually Harbor Freight or any place. But the good part about them is that you can easily figure out just exactly how much you want to trim off, and you can trim them off. In this case, I use a tiny bit. Just snap. You can even do 2 at once. I love that. That is like the easiest stripping I've ever seen, other than in Vegas. Just going to stick them in some blue tack here. Put a tiny bit of solder on. Just tiny bit. My iron is way too hot at the moment. But at least I found out now. One bad thing about these, if you are using this type of connector, these use the cheap PVC and not silicone, so you have like no room for heat control. It has to be absolutely perfect, otherwise you'll melt them together and it'll suck. Just going to dip this. These are already pre-tinned. But you just pre-tin these up again. Alright. Now the good part on the furibee, take out the battery here, or on the, sorry, the Eachine, the terminals, B positive is on the left, negative is on the right, and it says it right down in right beside the connector. So positive left, when you're looking at it this way, positive, negative. Positives on the left, negatives on the right. I'm going to try to add a tiny bit of solder to each one. Make sure when you do this you don't have any, don't bridge the terminals or it'll fry it. That would suck after all the work we put into it. Ooh, that's hot. Alright. Like I said, positive red on the left, negative on the right. Can we still see here? Alright, so that is all. We're going to do our camera at the same time. Red to red, black to black.
Those things we need to discuss. Within a minute, I couldn't breathe. You're less affected. You know he needs a higher dose. And I know you've got more money spoiled around. More money to get us out. No, not us. You and him.
Alright, so we just have the tug test. Tug here and here. Make sure, you know, it can survive some abuse. Got my battery in. Can plug it in, see if we have any dry connections or any problems. Also make sure the fit's good. Oh, well, you know. We have power to the transmitter, we have power to the board. Awesome. And there we go. That's about it. I'll be adding some hot glue, but otherwise we are in shape. Very cool. Alright, so doing tug test, plugging in. Got my goggles here. Check that view. The side parts actually like this transmitter better than the one on my 5-inch. It just, the camera itself just seems better. I don't know why. It's very stable. I don't even have an antenna in, but it's very stable. And we're going to take some flights, and yeah, that'll be it. I haven't, let's see, power. Oops, let's do that. I have not, that's all. Okay, just to finish off, there's some hot glue. I only use it because if you've flown the Acro firmware, it is much faster. It's actually so fast that you can see here from a wreck, I actually bent a prop on the inside of the guards. That's crazy because these are actually fairly good. And it wasn't a wreck. I ran into the wall and then suddenly my props bent. I've never done that with a little, either the E10 or the F36. So I thought I would reinforce the antenna mount on my VTX and the little mount there so that, you know, it's going to have repeated moving, and I don't want it to be, I don't want the connections to get loose or whatever. The good part about the hot glue, it just pulls right off. And we're about to take a flight and I'll get some DVR footage for you, and hopefully, you know, we'll be good. Appreciate it.